Hello. Um, I'm actually filming this at the end of editing because I realized I don't think I ever actually made a full intro. I think there was a video that I was going to use, but then I did not end up using it. So, hello. And we're just basically going to be mood reading. I only read two books just because I keep picking up books and then putting them down. But we read Yesteryear and Ready Player One. So let me take you through like almost a week and a half, 2 weeks of reading because I'm a slow reader. Hello. Hi, Miss Luna. In case you can't tell, it looks very bright and sunny outside, and so the plan is to go read by the pool for a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna order pizza tonight, and also I got a update saying that my package should be coming in later today, so we will see. Maybe we'll have a small little haul after all. Um, but yeah, gonna go ahead and sign off and go read by the pool for a little bit. So it's currently Sunday. I am kind of wanting to clean around my apartment today. I might throw on an audiobook. Who knows? I'm currently reading Ready Player One by Ernest Cline on my Kindle. Also, I redid the back of my Kindle. I'll try and insert a picture of what it looks like without a glare, hopefully. Um, but I think I just started this either yesterday or Friday afternoon, and I got it through the library, and so I'm kind of on a deadline to read this book by a certain date. I'm about 15% of the way through, I think. I read a little bit for sure yesterday while I was at the pool. I'll probably include a clip of that. But basically, there's this guy, and he has created what is called the Oasis, and it's kind of like a virtual reality where you can go in and you can do a lot of things. So, our main character, his mom works through this. Our main character goes to school through this. He can talk with his friends through this. However, a lot of it's kind of anonymous. Like, they don't really use their real names, they don't know each other personally. But the creator of this game has passed away and has left Easter eggs all throughout the game and said that whoever can find all of the Easter eggs would get his money, basically, his will, if you will. See what I did there? Anyways, so like I said, I'm about 15% of the way through. I think I just, here, let's actually look. It's right here in front of me. Yes, I'm right at 15% on chapter 5. And so we have learned a little bit about the main character. Like, he has not had the greatest time with family. His parents are both gone at this point. He lives with his aunt and they live in what is called stacks. It's kind of like a bunch of trailer homes or mobile homes all stacked on top of each other to be able to maximize the space because the world has gone into a declining state. Fuel is gone, so cars aren't really a thing unless you have a electric vehicle. Um, Money has gotten very tight in the world. A lot of people are without jobs, and so he's living with his aunt, and he kind of describes that he's basically living in the laundry room, and that's where he sleeps. Well, three other families are also living in the same home as him, and that it's only like a three-bedroom mobile home, if you will. And so you're already, at least I'm already feeling a lot for the character, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad for you. You are not the typical powerful main character. You described having like acne and being a little bit overweight and not being perfect, which I'm really, really enjoying. I'm enjoying how when he talks about it, he's not in like a self-deprecating way. I just kind of like how he is describing himself and the way that he's very realistic with things, and also he has a crush on this basically avatar because he doesn't know the person specifically, but he's describing the avatar as having what looks like realistic features. They don't look like they've overly enhanced their face or their body. And so, very curious where that's going to lead into. He also, in the first chapter, describes how he got the first Easter egg or key. And then we kind of jump back in the timeline in that first chapter where he's giving us the story of how he actually found this thing, the Easter egg. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I'm reading. I'll probably include the clip from reading yesterday at the pool, and then we'll see how much I can read today. Like I said, I might throw on an audiobook just because I'm staring at a pile of laundry that I need to fold and put away, and then also I got a package in the mail, and so I need to break down that box and take it to our trash chute. And then also, I baked brownies last night, so I also need to clean up that mess. So, we're gonna see where I go from here. Hello. This is definitely not the best lighting, but it has been a few days. It's honestly been like a week. I read a little bit more of Ready Player One. I want to say I'm up like finally at like 25 to 30%. I just have been really tired after getting home from work this week, so I haven't really actually been reading as much. But I did start Yesteryear by, I think her name is Carol Claire Burke. I think I might be saying that wrong. That might be out of order. But I'm actually listening to it as an audiobook and have been enjoying it a lot. The best way I can describe it is a book following Natalie, who is considered like a trad wife. She lives on a farm. She makes all of her meals all natural. She makes her own soap. She kind of portrays this life that she has is so perfect, but it's really kind of masked because she really has like nannies that are helping her behind the screens and things like that. But then she gets transported back in time where this trad wife kind of got its name, where it wasn't an option for women. That was just kind of what was expected. Like, they didn't have the right to vote. They were not allowed to get jobs. They were expected to provide for the family and do the house chores, while the men were expected to be the providers. And so it's very interesting. I want to say I'm about 30% of the way in now. And it's been very interesting. We are also kind of getting another timeline. Like, we're getting flashbacks to when she met her husband and prior to her having the kids. And then we go in, it kind of like alternates every other chapter for the most part. But it has been very interesting. I'm actually really enjoying it as an audiobook. I think it helps to hear like the confusion and frustration that she's feeling when she is back in time versus what she feels in like present day time when she's vlogging her life. I also think that her relationship with religion is also kind of interesting, just because she claims to be this strong Christian woman, and you can see her apologizing to God a lot.
whenever she feels like she's done something that wouldn't be okay in his eyes. And then seeing her when she goes back in time, she kind of like loses a lot of the religion. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's something that I typically wouldn't read. I think it's considered a thriller. It kind of feels a little bit like literary fiction with it. Like there's a lot of heavier topics in there too. But overall, I'm really enjoying it.
It has been a few days, and I have finally finished Ready Player One on my Kindle. I gave it like, I think I'm gonna stick with a 4 star just because I did really, really enjoy it. I enjoyed the plot. However, there was so much information that I felt like I had to sit with to understand it, and it would take me a while to get into the story. But overall, I thought it was really fun. I thought it was very engaging, even though the whole world was set in a video game. And there wasn't much discussion about the world outside of it because our main character basically just kind of stays in one place for majority of it. Although the ending, he does go to a different place. Not going to say too much, but that was very intriguing to hear about. Um, I'm also just about 60% of the way into Yesteryear, which I'm listening to um, on an audiobook. I am really, really enjoying it. I will say there are times where I'm having a hard time with it. Kind of like the same thing with Ready Player One, where I feel like both of those stories are requiring a lot of thought process and there's a lot to digest. And so I started The Leavers by Lisa Ko, but I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna softy enough it for now, and I think I'm gonna pick up a fun little romance because I kind of feel like I might be on the beginning of a book slump, but we're gonna see. I finally finished Ready Player One a few days ago, and then I've been listening to Yesteryear. I'll probably listen to it a little bit more this weekend and maybe pick up a romance just because I've only read the first chapter of Leaver, so I don't feel as bad putting it down now, but it is feeling a bit heavy and it feels like I just finished or are about to finish two books that also were kind of heavy and required a lot of thought process. So I think I just kind of need to pick up a silly little romance. So I think that's where we're going to go from here. Okay, it is kind of late. It's like almost 11 o'clock on a Monday, but I finally finished Yesteryear. I also think this is probably the last book that I'm going to read for this video, just because I keep picking up books and then soft DNFing them after one chapter. I think I'm going into a reading slump, so I think I might take a small break after this. Um, but Yesteryear. Oh my goodness. I I gave it a 3 stars. I enjoyed parts of it and there are parts of it that I did not like at all. And there were times where I was like, okay, can we just get to the point? I don't care anymore. But oh my god, the ending? I was surprised. I was surprised, I'm not gonna lie. I was very curious how the dual timeline was going to make sense in the end, but I think it made sense. I enjoyed the ending. I I don't know how I really feel about the book if I'm being honest, because it it is a book that is showing very much a situation that happens nowadays with like influencers and family influence and things like that, and exploitation of children on the internet, things like that. And there are parts of it that feel so intensely human. Like, don't get me wrong, almost everyone in this book sucked. Like, they sucked. But hearing the thought process and understanding, like, yes, you are human, you had this feeling, this is what you did to try and fix that, and it was a bad decision. But there's something very extremely human about that, and knowing that, people mess up all the time in life. And for some people, that's fine and it's just a little mistake. Whereas for other people, like that changes the whole line of your life and where you're going to go in life. Like for her children and what happened to them after what they experienced with their mother, which I I will say the experience of this book after reading it and being like, okay, I myself am not a mother. How would I react in this situation? Then it was like, I I don't know if I would even ever be in a situation that would require that to happen for me, if we're being honest. And it feels so strange. Also, the idea of religion and how they use like Christianity as almost like this baseline, and how engrossed people can become in religion and how it dictates their life and their views and their relationships with other people. I thought that was very interesting, especially just because I grew up in a household that on one side was not religious at all, and then I had the other side that was very religious. And so seeing it from the perspective of someone who was raised completely in religion and is expected to carry that on through their lineage and how they see the morals that come with the religion was very interesting, to say the least. I Yeah, I just I gave it 3 stars. I think the topic and the plot line was very, very interesting. I honestly was really surprised by how interested I was in it, especially because I read it as an audiobook, which could be why I'm only rating it 3 stars. Maybe if I read it with my eyes, maybe it would be a little bit higher because there were times where I got confused, especially whenever she was in yesteryear and we're describing her children, but like when she's back in like the pioneer timeline and how they mimicked her kids before that, which also having kids in the exact same order twice is crazy. That's crazy. Um, but it's a book. It's fiction. They can do that. But yeah, honestly, I think that's all my thoughts. Like I said, it's really late. I keep picking up books and then putting them down. Like last night, I picked up Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Yeah. And it's interesting, but like I said, I think I'm going in a reading slump, so I might take this week and not read. Probably work on getting this video edited and uploaded. But yeah, who knows? Maybe the next video will be getting out of reading slump. Or also a book haul. I did actually buy a few books. So maybe we could do a book haul. Who knows? We will see where I go. But that is the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you have Any suggestions? Just put them down below. And I'm gonna go to bed. So goodbye.